Howdy, everybody. I'm Thomas Blair.
I'm Mark Halash.
And this is the November Q&A, where we take all questions from our Development Backers Forum and read them in front of you and answer them and our thoughts behind a lot of them. Okay, the question on everyone's mind this month is 5-3 and managing expectations. It seems like 99% of the population is waiting for 5-3 before doing squat in the test. With all the waiting, expectations for 5-3 are rising to pretty extreme levels, and among the people I talk to, they want to know what is in and what is out. So by the time that this comes out, it should be up on test. But let's talk about the things that are out for people who don't follow the test server. Okay, let's go down the items. Race class split.
Ah, yes.
Clerics.
Yes.
New skill trees.
Absolutely.
VIPs giving double training, no doubling down in combat.
Yes. Is that yes?
That is, in fact, yes.
That's a yes.
However,
Confirmed.
VIP will be not turned on for the first couple weeks because we want to test the system with everybody being, it's just a good test. When we never tested the old system with non-VIPs. Dual weapons replaced with main hand and offhand.
Absolutely.
Shields being offhand weapons with stats.
Sure.
Rangers with quivers.
Yes. I'll say yes.
New world textures and environment changes.
Yes.
Action harvesting.
Action harvesting.
Survival tray.
Yes.
So let's look at the speculation ones. First real competitive campaign worlds.
Well, I mean, we're going to have campaign worlds, but...
I think we're actually going to get some rule tweaks somewhere during this cycle. Attributes affecting skill values in consistent and understandable ways.
Well, we're going to have the new character sheet, right?
Yeah.
So that's going to help a lot. So,
yeah.
Sure.
Stats on jewelry.
No.
Yeah, didn't do that yet.
No, not yet.
Bow disciplines enabled.
Yes, actually.
And in fact, the assassin, we've gotten, basically that was waiting on positional damage stuff.
Yeah.
Which we had to do to get the Minotaur racial working, which is he can't be stunned from the front.
And that's in 5.3.
And that's in 5.3. So we actually have the positional stuff, and now it's coming up with interesting ways to use it, which we'll see in the next couple months. Yep. In addition to the assassin, Mark and I will just come up with crazy power ideas and be like, hey, this would be cool if this had a positional requirement to it. So you definitely see more things with position in it. Okay, next question. Okay, we have a series of Q&A racial questions about the racial powers that we showed in our past Q&As. Here's some follow-ups. Does the Elken's 10-meter range enhancement apply to any of the Cleric heals, any of the Templar powers, any of the Knight powers? If so, which ones?
Yeah, so specifically the range bonuses primarily affect range stuff. Now that said, the cleric heals, we're considering range, so that will affect the range of the cleric heals.
It's also been nerfed from 10 meters to 5 meters already.
Okay.
Because it was
too
easy to go over 100
yeah.
with our current values for at least the range class.
And that makes the engineers sad.
Yes. They don't like it when we go over 100 meters. It's also a problem.
It's only a football field.
Yeah, it's only a football field.
Not quite a football field.
Yeah, it is an extreme range. However, the ground targeting stuff does not get the range bonus.
Right.
Those are fixed. So basically, like the cleric throw, their left click gets the bonus. All of the ranger bow shots that aren't ground targets. No melee powers get this.
Right. So basically none of the Knight powers would get this because they're all...
In fact, I've renamed it range distance bonus.
Yeah.
So it's very literal in what it does.
Right. So it's very specifically ranged powers that are ranged.
There you go. Okay. Can humans and half-elves take Expansive Mind to get 10 active power tray slots?
Yes.
Yes, they can.
Yes, they can.
They can totally get 10 if they take that. If they take that passive, not passive. It's a minor. The knockdown reduction for Stoneborn is said to be large. What is the reduction in the duration of knockdowns for the Stoneborn? What is the healing and damage buff given to the Stoneborn when they are knocked down, and how long does it last? Very specific.
Yeah, very specific, and we don't know yet because we're not.
And I think you nerfed my initial implementation.
I did.
I saw a pass through there where Mark brings it into Sanity Land.
Yeah,
I think it was like 2.5% or 5% per. For damage and healing?
I honestly don't remember, but the fact of the matter is it's going to be significant, but...
Yeah, the idea is that they're made of stone and they're hard to knock down.
Right, and all of these... The idea with all these racial passives are to be significant and worth having, right? Like impactful to your character. So it will be impactful to your character, right? A Stoneborn getting knocked down is going to be not as effective.
I think it's worth talking about. So the racials are very, from a design perspective, they're very have and have-nots. Whereas most other things that we do in the power system, we give you multiple avenues of getting that thing. So generally there isn't a best way to get to something. There are multiple ways to get to something. And with the racials, however, they are very unique. That way that race feels unique. There isn't multiple ways to get to some of these very specific things.
Right. I mean, a normal, like a non-Stoneborn is not going to be able to reach the levels of crowd control resistance to knockdown that a Stoneborn is. Just, they're not.
That's a great example. So that's a case of not, but a case of there is the plentiful harvesting buffs you get from anywhere in the harvesting system. You can get it from the group leadership buff. There's an alchemy potion that's in there. There is a major discipline that's in there, and then there's the skill trees. So we've given you 4 big ways to get that stat, if that's the thing, and there isn't just one way to do it, except with the racials. So, okay. Will a Nethari Templar be able to slot his Templar's parry into one of his 8 active power slots so he can also have Zealot Rush, the racial dodge, at the same time? Will the Cleric and Knight be able to use their class-based block powers as active powers and use a racial dodge as their right mouse button?
Right. No, those go specifically in the right mouse button slot, and they will not go in the tray. The regular.
Correct. However, what I found that I like to do is in my survival tray, if I'm playing any of those races, I put my dodge power in the survival tray, and then I put my block in whatever melee trays I have, and that tends to work pretty good.
Right.
So I get the feeling of I'm dodging all over the place in the survival tray, and then when I actually go into combat, I've got the blocks available or the parries available to me. The Nethari's Call of Flames power is its single target, AoE ranged. What is the range and the cooldown?
Right. So that is, I think, a point-blank AoE. And what were the questions? Like, what's the cooldown? I think the cooldowns are 45 seconds.
Yeah, most of the racials are somewhat like that, and that one is the one that sets your target on fire, just because you are a fire people from the desert.
Right.
Okay. The High Elf Humiliate power, is it single target, AoE ranged? What is the range and the cooldown?
I believe that's single target, and the range is farish, and
it's a range power.
It is a range power. And 45-second cooldown, I believe I have written down on that piece of paper you stole from me.
Yes, that is totally the answer to that question, and that is the one that increases your target's power cost multiplier, making it more expensive for them to cast spells. It's a really wicked,
which is hilarious.
It is a wicked debuff. Okay, half-elf suggestion. Right now, all of the races get at least 1 non-dodge roll active power, except for the half-elf. In Shadowbane, half-elves were the lords of the briar and bramble, able to move through the bush. You could very easily add a similar active power to basically allow them to break through snares. And we could. The question is, do we want to? That comes from a can we to a should we, which is ultimately where most design lands, because we can do pretty much whatever we want to. The question is, should we? Right now, they get some pretty good racial passives in the extra slot as well as the faster movement. They just didn't feel like they needed a unique thing. If they do, after we see this first pass, because again, what's coming in 5.3 is our first whack at the racials. And some will be crazy OP, and some will be, not good enough. And we'll be able to look at the metrics and see which ones are the best and take action. So that's one of the things that is great about our open development process is we can actually see what's getting used and how it is getting used. Well, thank you for coming out for the November Q&A. We hope to see you in a couple weeks on our Q&A live where Halash and I get together and talk about what are the current burning issues. And I think we'll have some good stuff to talk about with 5.3 being in your hands at that point. Thanks for coming out.
See you later.